When I stepped into my parents' home, I froze. From the dining room, my mother's voice floated out. Calm, almost proud. My sister's kids eat first. Selena's boys can wait for the scraps. My sister chuckled. My father didn't lift his eyes. In the corner, my son sat, empty plates perched on their knees, pretending hunger didn't exist. My chest constricted, and inside, everything fell silent. I said nothing. I didn't argue. I didn't explain. I simply gathered my boys and left. What they didn't realize, what none of them sensed, was that by pushing my children into that corner, they had shoved themselves into a far darker place. Yes, I am Selena. And truthfully, that scene in my parents' dining room wasn't sudden. It was the first time their hierarchy was so blatant, so loud, that even my silence couldn't shield me. The pattern began long before my boys, Jalen and Theo, were born. At 17, still on my first part-time job, my mother, Ellen, a woman who always sounded on the verge of crisis, asked for help with groceries. My father, Harold, practical to the point of cold, nodded, saying it would teach responsibility. $20 here, $50 there. Soon, giving became reflexive, a habit, an obligation. By college, I was receiving photos of Bill's notes about repairs. Calls asking if everything was fine were met with my mother's voice trembling in all the right places. I didn't see it then, but looking back, it was choreographed worry, perfectly timed. When I landed my first full-time job, the request shifted. Could you help? Became we really need you. Dental work for my father. A broken appliance. Car trouble. Always emergencies. Always urgent. Always landing on weeks when my paycheck cleared. Then came Vanessa, my older sister. The celebrated one. The mother of Lily and Caleb, who were always invited, praised, and placed at the center. When her car failed, I paid for repairs. Insurance troubles, covered. I told myself it was temporary. Family helps family, right? But after marrying Darius, patient and steady, the imbalance sharpened. He'd ask, do they ever offer help to us? I'd laugh it off. They are busy. Yet every holiday, every celebration, I noticed the seating arrangements, the invitations, the small cues of distance. Darius would step back during family conversations as if he already knew he didn't belong. Then came the children. Jalen was fragile in my mother's arms, delicate, uncertain, as if she didn't know where he fit. When Theo arrived 2 years later, my father's eyes flickered with hesitation. I blamed exhaustion, stress, anything but bias. But children notice what adults ignore. Jalen learned quickly, cousins first. The best toys, the largest slices. Theo noticed patterns too, how Lily and Caleb sat near adults while he and Jalen were sent to the other room. Every tightening in my chest, I convinced myself, was oversensitivity. The money requests never ceased. They grew. Mortgage help, medical bills, sudden roof repairs, unexpected expenses magically appearing before holidays. Every yes I gave, I thought generosity would bridge the emotional divide. It never did. That dining room, my boys in the corner with empty plates. Not just a shock, it was recognition. Nothing had changed. I had been funding a hierarchy that cast my children aside, financing a family that saw my boys as crumbs. Watching Lily and Caleb have seconds while Jalen and Theo stared at nothing, I understood. This wasn't accidental. It was a system, one I had helped uphold without realizing. And then, something sharp and absolute rose in me. I wouldn't let them overlook my sons again. That evening, I returned thinking the worst had already happened. I didn't realize the Real trigger lay beneath the surface, quiet like a fault line. The house felt too calm, empty, not peaceful. I stepped in and heard it. My sister's kids eat first. Selena's boys can wait for the crumbs. Practical, really. My sister laughed. Better they get used to it now. They were born to live off what's left. My father added, steady and logical, they need to learn their place. That's just how it is. Before they noticed, I moved. In the warm light, I saw clearly, Lily and Caleb finishing seconds, Jalen and Theo hovering near the doorway. Jalen met my eyes for half a second, and in that look, something fractured. He wasn't confused anymore. He understood exactly where the adults had placed him. That was the moment. Not the crumbs, not the empty plates, not the laughter. The look on my child's face rewired something in me. Words couldn't fix it. Confrontation wouldn't change them. But systems can be dismantled. Support can be withdrawn. I held the lever they never expected me to pull. I didn't slam doors or shout. I placed a hand on each boy, guided them to the car, and buckled them in. The silence was thick, but I kept steady for their sake. Back home, Darius, ever aware of my moods, opened the door. One look, and he knew. "Let's get them settled first," he said. He helped Jalen with his sketchbook, guided Theo to the couch with a documentary. Only then did he return, leaning on the counter, waiting. "I'll start," I said, voice low. My mother said, "The cousins eat first, and my boys should wait for crumbs." Darius exhaled slowly. "Sit. Selena, you've been supporting that household for years. Bills, repairs, payments, never questioning the cost, not financially, not in dignity. They don't see our sons as family. They see them as complications and you as a solution to drain." I couldn't argue. Silence wasn't defeat. It was clarity. He asked, "What do you want to do?" The plan began quietly. I retrieved a legal pad and laptop. For columns, mortgage, auto, utilities, emergencies. I logged 8 years of transfers, payments, dates, amounts. Darius slid me a second pen. By midnight, the pattern was undeniable. "They've built their lives around your income," I whispered. "And their arrogance, too," Darius added. I felt no tears, only a cold steadiness. "I'm done." We called the mortgage company, the auto lender, canceled utilities transfers, deleted the cushion fund, requested an audit, consulted a family lawyer. Quietly, methodically, no spectacle, no drama. By 2 a.m., all adjusted. Darius set a mug beside me. "Better?" "No." "Awake," I said. Awake to a realization. My silence had been the first act of power. Now I had methodical control. The first impact came 48 hours later. My father called. Mortgage transfer failed. My sister, car payment blocked. I reminded them, my sons were born to live on leftovers. No guilt, only recalculating losses. My mother called last. I let it ring twice. The bills, we're in trouble. "You punish my sons," I said. "The mortgage help won't return. Automatic transfers gone. Cushion fund gone. Cosign access locked. From now on, you live on your income." No shouting, no bargaining. Silence delivered the message. For once, I wasn't scrambling. They were. Desperation seeped into their lives. The same emptiness my boys had felt, now mirrored in their accounts. Weeks later, life settled quietly. My parents downsized. Vanessa worked extra shifts. At home, Jalen claimed a seat at the table. Theo laughed louder, asked questions, told stories. They existed fully, seen, worthy. I felt aligned. Clear, the balance finally right. It wasn't money reclaimed that changed everything. It was space restored. My boys no longer sat in corners. I would never apologize for valuing their worth over anyone else's comfort, even my parents. If this story resonates, share your own boundary-setting moment. Your voice might ignite someone else's awakening.